Police Department, specifically Chief Tom Simon, Lieutenant Sean McBreen, and Detective Spencer Bischoff. Their professionalism, but moreover their compassion during those first few hours were invaluable, and we are forever in their debt. Also, during those first few days, there was hardly a minute that an officer on duty was not at our home, making sure that all of our needs were being met, and for that we will be forever grateful. Secondly, I would like to thank you, Chief Over, for your entire department who responded that day. The paramedics were extremely compassionate, and we are so fortunate to have a department that is so sensitive to these situations. So please extend our sincerest thanks to all who were involved that morning. I'd also like to thank our maintenance department for their kind generosity and sensitivity in the burial of our son, and also their numerous visits to our home to make sure that we were okay and see to our needs. I'd like to thank Carrie for her manning the office in Becky's absence and for her coordination of the food and the drink and the organization of Caleb's celebration at Mountain View. And with that said, we are also very, very much appreciative of all the local and regional businesses who donated food and flowers at Caleb's celebration. It made the day a little happier and a little brighter. And finally, we just want to thank the entire community for their support during this difficult time. The outpouring of comfort, condolences, and sympathy from so many people has been unbelievable and overwhelming. You know, our community is much like a family. And although we sometimes have our differences, it is very heartening to know that at the end of the day, we can all come together to support one of our own. And words cannot do justice for the things that we hold in our heart for everyone's support. And we just want to recognize and support that, recognize that support, and please know it did not go unnoticed. Thank you all from the Fairley family. We appreciate it very much. Thank you, Mayor.
We will proceed with our agenda. I just wanted to make a few comments about the short park development project. At the last meeting, we had a resident criticizing the maintenance of the park. I looked into it, and the maintenance issues were not due to MVCA in any event. Hamilton County Park District had not cut the grass along the bike trail because they didn't have their attachment on their tractor. We've since had MVCA and their contractor cut that grass, but it was the responsibility of the Hamilton County Park District, and it was not the fault of MVCA. In addition, a resident had cut honeysuckle and thrown it on park property. The contractor for MVCA said he would take care of it. He did remove it. I mean, what we heard last time was disparaging comments of the academy, and it was not due to anything they had done. They were maintaining the park, saving the village money in doing so. So I just wanted to clarify that. In addition, the light bulbs had gone out in the park, and we did not have to replace them months ago. So they were saving us money and doing a job maintaining the park. The second point I'd like to make is you're going to hear more from Barry, so I'm not going to say too much about this, but this park development is in the exploratory stage. We have a lot of work to do yet, probably go back to the Ohio EPA, and Barry's going to talk about it, but there's not going to be bid documents going out. There's not going to be bulldozers showing up. We've got a lot of work to do. It's in the exploratory stage. The third point I'd like to make is that I met with a member of MVCA last week. He assured me that they have just about $1.5 million. He showed me evidence I did not receive, nor did I ask for any documents, but he assured me and he demonstrated to me they have $1.45 million in ready liquid funds. Now, they're not all in a bank account, but in today's world, a phone call or a keystroke will have those funds delivered to their bank account. So I was shown sufficient evidence that they have nearly $1.5 million at this stage. Since we are in the exploratory stage, that is sufficient. If any council member wants to hear more, I will talk about that after the meeting, but I don't want to put on the record confidential financial information. but they did demonstrate to me almost $1.5 million in readily accessible funds. The last point I'd like to make is a resident would like to have a public forum on Short Park in this hall. I am not going to sponsor a village event at this time because we are in the exploratory stage. Again, you're going to hear more from Barry. A lot of things have to be completed before this council receives final plans that we can even approve. So we're a long way from having anything to show the public. But this resident would like to have their non-village sponsored event in this hall. This is the people's house, so unless somebody on council strongly objects, I would be inclined to allow a resident to use these chambers for their non-village sponsored event. Again, it's not, I will promise to open the doors and lock the doors and turn off the lights. It's going to be 6 to 8, I believe, on June 6th. If they were a Cub Scout group or a Girl Scout group, we would say absolutely. So, does any council member have any strong objection to a resident using the chambers for a non-village sponsored event? It's their own public forum, I guess, to debate. Well, it's their own public forum to talk about Short Park. So, hearing no objection, I will open the building and close the building. So, that is all I had. Chief Over, we always take you first if you have duties outside the village. Nice to see you again for your quarterly report.
All right, well, nice to see you all, and welcome, well said, Terry, nice family here in Newtown that we're protecting and we enjoy it, which leads me to my report. Basically, first quarter this year, things are going well, no issues, a few calls down from last year, that's a good thing. And I just wanted to make sure that as I sent the memo to council about the changes we're going to be implementing with our fire inspection program, similar to what we do in the township. We follow the Ohio Fire Code, and we're going to be continuing to inspect all the businesses in the village, and we are also going to start implementing a permit process. And what that is it's probably going to affect about 60 businesses if they have bulk storage, if they have large occupancy, or anything of that sort. What that allows us to do is I like to explain for those of us that have been around a while, it's kind of like the right to know that started many years ago. It gives us a heads up that it's there, and we so put it in our database. We just did an inspection recently and didn't even realize there was a business in the village that had liquid oxygen. That is a firefighting challenge if and when that were to occur, and that's okay. It's a well-established business, been here a while, but those are the kind of things that we can put in our process and our plans so we know how to deal with it if and when, and we hope that there's never an event. So I wanted to make sure that the residents were aware, the businesses will be getting that certificate when we make our rounds. And with that said, I'll open up the questions that you might have about that process or the department in general.
Chief Over did reach out to me about this process. I consulted Mr. Zorns and Ms. Subinger, the solicitor. We all, I think, agree that the fire chief has the authority under the code to impose these minor fees. We did not need to pass an ordinance. And I just remember when Newtown negotiated with Anderson Township, we insisted to be treated just like Anderson Township. So with the quality of service comes the same corollary fees. So, I mean, he was kind enough to alert me to this, and I brought Darrell and Emily in.
I just have one question for you, Chief. On the initial inspections of businesses, how many have you done and how many more are there to do?
We made an initial, I'll call it a first round, in the past 2016 year, beginning 2017, just kind of getting out, taking a look at them so the crews that are stationed here were familiar. We're probably, I think maybe a third of the way, possibly even further along than that now with our up-to-date inspections. So it's going pretty well. The businesses are very receptive to us. We have pointed out a lot of little things to them, and they're working real well with us, and we're working well with them too.
Do you have a goal for completion?
It should be by the end of this year.
Okay, thank you.
We do one inspection in both our community and your community at least once a year. And that's not including some of the new things that are going on or re-inspections that occur. We're going to continue to do that, but I'd like to have a business one time.
Thank you.
Anything more, Chief?
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Franz, Diversified Environmental Consulting. The village retained Mr. Franz last meeting, as a matter of fact, and he has done a lot of work. Everybody who has dealt with him has said he's gotten up to speed and done a lot of work. I thought I would turn it over to him. He's going to talk about what he's done, where he sees this project going, and we should have a slide presentation on the table.
Unfortunately, I cannot get my laptop to communicate with your projector, so it's going to make things a little difficult. If anyone's had any experience with this projector, I would be very appreciative. Here we go.
I think everybody at the table has a slide presentation. I think we have some in the audience. Does anybody need one in the audience? I think I gave them to the people that are really involved in this project. Want to go ahead, Gary?
Yeah. Basically, what I'm going to talk about tonight is a brief discussion of the scope of services that I undertook, a review of the environmentally related documents, the findings, and then basically what our next steps are. The scope of services started out as a review of primarily the bid documents, the bid drawings, and the bid specifications. It also included attendance at meetings as requested or as needed, and a review of various environmentally related documents. Now, the documents that were reviewed were quite a few. The original Rule 13 permit application, the Phase 1 environmental site assessment report, which was prepared for the Academy, Hamilton County Public Health's closed landfill report, Hamilton County Public Health's previous landfill inspections and their gas monitoring, the ground penetrating radar survey which was conducted, soil sampling which was also conducted. I'll also discuss some file documents that I received through a Freedom of Information request from Public Health as well, also from Ohio EPA. And then finally, I'll discuss briefly the FEMA floodplain documents. Now, of course, the question is, where did I get these documents? Well, the Rule 13 permit application, received that from the Village of Newtown. I contacted as part of the Freedom of Information request from Ohio EPA. They provided me with what is called the Letter of Compliance, which relates to the Rule 13 permit application. I received the Phase 1 site assessment report, also from the village. The closed landfill report was received directly from Hamilton County Public Health, as well as their previous landfill inspections and all of their gas monitoring. I was presently surprised that they had gas monitoring all the way back to June of 2000. So they have quite an extensive history on that. The GPR survey was received from the village. It was prepared by a firm called Mac Salt in February of 2015. The soil sampling was conducted by Lee Knuppel and Associates. That was partially in response, actually was in response to the Phase 1 report, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. The FOIA request that was submitted to both Hamilton County and Ohio EPA, both provided me with extensive documents. And then the FEMA floodplain document was obtained directly from their floodplain website. Just bear with me a second here. I think I pressed jump too far. Okay, the bid documents, what I call the bid documents, which included the bid drawings and their specifications. These were preliminary drawings. These were not drawings that were anywhere near completion or even ready to submit to the council for review. So a number of our comments that I presented through the village engineer, I mean, it's still pretty rough. They still have a lot of work to do. One of the items that we looked at was the placement of, of course, the football field, the ball field, the basketball